My name is David Thomas. I'm co-founder of Forster-Thomas Educational Consulting here in New York City. I'm going to talk now about the MBA interview and the most commonly asked questions you should be prepared for. In addition to the questions about why you want to come to our school, which I've addressed in a separate interview, the most common question you're likely to be asked in an MBA interview is, walk me through your resume. Now, the mistake that people make when they walk someone through their resume is they focus on the actual functions and the tasks and the responsibilities that they had in each job. Nobody really cares about that. They actually have your resume in front of them when they're interviewing you, so they can read that for themselves. What they really care about is why you took the job, why you left the job, what's your biggest accomplishment on that job, and what skill set did you learn on that job. Those are the things you really want to address. Another very common question asked in MBA interviews is talk about an important issue in your industry. So you should definitely have read the Wall Street Journal and the New York Times business section for at least the past week before your interview, because it may very well happen that they ask you about some sort of current event facing your industry. Now remember, it's fine for you to have an opinion and a point of view. Don't be worried about whether your admissions officer interviewing you or the alumnus interviewing you disagrees. In fact, he or she may disagree with you just to find out how you handle that disagreement. So it's important that you stick to your guns, and here's one really important tip. Write this down because it's a good one. If you get into a debate with your interviewer about a current event or some other opinion, and they seem to have bested you, then your response to that is, oh, you see, this is why I want an MBA, is so I can learn how to think about these issues the same way you just did. And that ties your reason for getting an MBA right into the mistake you think you made. Now, finally, I want to talk about the two different ways that most admissions interviews go. One is what I call a personal interview, which is really often about your personal life. And or what is your favorite movie, or tell me about a favorite book, or an important experience growing up. That all stuff, just be prepared to talk about your personal life, because sometimes it happens. And there's nothing, there should be nothing awkward about that. I've had many people ask me, was it okay that we talked about the Boston Red Sox for 30 minutes? Well, frankly, it is okay, because at the end of the day, what the interviewer is going to submit to the school is a list of, is a questionnaire. They get a questionnaire about you, and it says, like, rank the interviewee on the following attributes, such as preparedness or presentation and maturity, things like that. So you can talk about really any topic, and they'll be able to get the material they need. And then finally, last thing I want to say is about the behavioral interview. MIT does these, Wharton does these after their team interview, Stanford often does behavioral interviews. Behavioral just means that they want to find out about a behavior that you did. So instead of asking you questions like, who's your best boss, or who's your worst boss, which is based around opinions, they're asking you to tell a story. Such as, describe a time when you made an impact in a team, or describe a way that you created an influence over a boss, something like that. They always start off with the words, describe a time when. So the important thing here is just to tell a story. And by the way, at the end of your story, they don't really care what you learned and what your takeaway was. You don't need to talk about, and that's how I realized this, or and so I learned that. Behavioral questions are not about analysis, they're just about the facts. So stick to the facts, and you'll do well. My name is David Thomas. I'm co-founder of Forster-Thomas Educational Consulting here in New York, and we're telling it to you like it is.